Now, to one Karl Stefanovic, who did this interview, and I believe is giving a couple of nods over here to Nerve Central. And when we come to Australia, and it is our mission to do so, I would like to buy Karl a beer. Now, we're going to begin with, you know what? I can't even set it up. It's too good. Just, you got to just take a look. Listen again. If you're listening, take a look. Here we go.
Coming up.
Rosie O'Donnell's show is a disaster.
How is life in exile, you troublemaker?
You know that he's a fake, a phony, and a fraud.
The funny woman and the president.
I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers. I'd say, Rosie, you're fired.
Inside Rosie O'Donnell and Donald Trump's feud.
No red hats. Triggers me. It triggers me.
It's no laughing matter.
That always comes first with him. What about a threat to humanity? That's a good one.
And the papers go up. Oh my God. Okay, so first he said, how's life in exile, you troublemaker? Troublemaker? Secondly, then he throws up his papers while interviewing her in exultation. It's like that's a nerve thing. We do that over here all the time. Usually I'm doing it out of complete exasperation, but nonetheless, we see you and we are honored in a Rosie O segment. Nonetheless, right? Okay, now, anyway, this interview, I'm going to say, was kind of rather cynically framed around her feud with Donald Trump. And listen, whether you're pro-Trump, you're totally anti-Trump, that's just the framework. It's the excuse. It's the way in, because there really isn't anything. Actually, there is something newsworthy they could talk to her about. I'm guessing they wanted to keep it light, or Rosie said, that's now a no-go zone. And that could be her new BFF, Lyle Menendez, getting denied parole in the brutal, savage murder of his parents. But, I guess maybe Donald Trump is safer ground to cover. So anyway, that's just the framework. And it's I laughed through this. Now, our producer, Marlena, said to me this morning, I kind of struggled through this interview. And I said, trust me, I think there are gems in here. Now, Ireland, land of my ancestors, I apologize on behalf of America and New York in particular for this befouling your shores. Your beautiful, verdant, exquisite, pure, extremely cultured, warm, lovely shores. And trust me, nobody is more welcoming and wonderful than the Irish. And I'm going to tell you, I think Rosie O is going to put them to the test. Now, here she is talking about life as a political exile in Ireland. Look at beautiful, quaint,
when you think about
gorgeous.
It's a pretty extraordinary situation. A comedian, of all people, has become America's most famous political exile.
No, she hasn't.
But there's nothing funny about what Donald Trump thinks of Rosie O'Donnell.
Probably I'll sue her. I'd like to take some money out of her fat ass pockets.
Or what she thinks of him.
He is a cruel, criminal, mentally unstable man.
Okay, this is amazing on several levels. First of all, you would think Rosie O'Donnell was Alexei Navalny, okay? You would think she's chained up in a gulag being starved and tortured to death. Okay, she left New York and she went to Ireland. It's that simple. There's now the Donald Trump of it all, where she says, and again, you could be pro or you could be anti, but this thing is true. Physician, heal thyself. She calls Trump mentally ill. I mean, Rosie O'Donnell, when she was hosting The View, and this was like peak View era when Rosie O was hosting, she did, and I actually loved this, but she did an entire show on depression because she suffers from so much depression. And she was like, I'm going to do a public service. I'm going to do an entire View episode, which, by the way, it's a morning chat show. You want to keep it light. You want to keep it moving. And anyway, she brought out this contraption in which, she strapped herself in. It was like this really long, it almost looked kind of medieval contraption. And then what it does is somebody would like flip her over so she would hang upside down, like Batcave style, to get the blood rushing to her head to try to like assuage some of the depression. So, she's calling Trump mentally ill and mean and like a threat to humanity and a dangerous guy. And I'm telling you, she loves Lyle Menendez. And she gave this, we did this in an earlier Nerve. She gave this huge interview to the New York Times about how she went to Lyle for like advice to deal with her like non-binary autistic kid. Now, I think the child is no longer identifying as non-binary. We're not touching on that here. But so anyway, Ireland, Dublin, you've got your hands full, okay? Now, this also reminded me of a fairly recent presser Trump had in the Oval with Ireland's PM, who was asked a banger. Again, the Nerve, this journalist is going on our short list for the Nerve Awards, first annual. Don't give me any shit, you guys, about not saying inaugural. Forward looking. Okay, anyway. Let's take a look.
My second part question to this, Ireland is known for very happy, fun-loving people, great attitude, many in this room right now that I've met. Why in the world would you let Rosie O'Donnell move to Ireland? I think she's going to lower your happiness level.
That's true. Thank you. I like that question. Do you know you have Rosie O'Donnell? Do you know who she is? Do you know who she is?
The PM is pretending he doesn't know who that is.
You're better off not knowing.
President Trump.
Thank you, Donald Trump. Again, whether you agree or disagree with him politically, when it comes to the culture, Trump usually hits it on the head. He said, you're better off not knowing. Remember when he said that he wasn't going to give Harry any trouble with his visa because he had his hands full with Meghan Markle and that was not going to end well? Correct. Now, Rosie, are we going to look first? We're going to look at Trump, I think, talking about Rosie's move. Let's take a look at this.
Rosie's
on the tarmac.
She left our country, which is a good thing, not a bad thing.
Again, on the tarmac, he was asked as president by a member of the White House press pool to comment on Rosie O's move. And again, in terms of pop culture, the guy gives the people what we want. Now, and I'm just going to say this. I just need to pause here for anybody who's like, Maureen, how can you in any way defend Donald Trump? Listen, Barack Obama sat next to him at Jimmy Carter's funeral and made a lot of fun, small talk and chatted and laughed. So listen, the guy is not a threat to democracy. Obama would be sending up a flare, don't you think? But Rosie O knows better than Barack Obama. So anyway, she talks about landing in Ireland, and what does she do? First, she attends to her health. She attends to her health. So she goes to see a doctor in Ireland and she's filling out some intake forms. And let's listen to Rosie O on her alcohol consumption.
Thankfully for Rosie, Ireland and the Irish have saved her.
Went to the doctor, getting my first checkup with the GP.
We need this stereotype.
Do you smoke? No. Do you drink? Yes. How often do you drink? Please check one box. The first box said 1 to 15 drinks per week. I said to her, what would you say if I told you I had 15 drinks per week? She goes, I'd say move on to the next question. I was like, are you kidding? In LA, they'd be sending you to rehab. But here, everyone's like, would you like a pint, love? Welcome to Ireland. Would you like a pint? I'm like, I certainly would.
She's got to take that edge off. She's got a maybe non-binary autistic kid, and she's got the specter, of Donald Trump looming. Her fake enemy, she's shadowboxing. Like the narcissism to think that the leader of the free world has enough time to attend to the likes of you over in Ireland. Okay, now, I'm sorry, my voice cracked. This thing, see, I hope Marlene is coming around because this is hilarious. Now, Karl, you mischievous effer you. Karl, who is clearly really enjoying himself in this interview. It's like everybody came to play. Everybody knows what we're doing here. So Karl decides he's not only going to parry with Rosie by reminding her of Trump's biggest insults, and he's not even going to read them himself. They're going to pump in Trump's voice saying these things. This is high production. There was a lot. They had a lot of fun brainstorming about this segment. Trust me. Okay. So not only is Trump's voice going to come in, but Karl brought props. Again, another nod to the nerve. 60 Minutes. Karl brings in props. And these are just pieces of paper, just like, letter size, office size pieces of paper, except like an 80-point font. They've printed out the words. So Rosie now has to be confronted not just with the audio, but with the visual of Trump's insults on paper. Let's go.
Being an enemy of Donald Trump doesn't make Rosie O'Donnell Robinson Crusoe. She has plenty of company, but it's still unnerving
Not to belabor
be
the
hated
point.
by the most powerful and vitriolic man on the planet.
Karl,
Words
you're verging
have
on camp.
power.
Rosie is a loser.
A loser, yes. A threat to humanity.
Disgusting. I mean, both inside and out.
These are all some of his best quotes.
Fat, ugly face of hers.
Fat always comes first with him.
She's a slob.
Okay. Job of the Hut, Donald Trump, whatever. Go ahead, keep going. Is that the last one? I expected more from you. What about a threat to humanity?
You covered that one. I mean, Karl is really enjoying himself. Like, he had to hold the paper up right to his eyes so that she could not see him laughing, like just dying over this. Jeez. So Rosie is really involved in what I think is a very unhealthy codependent relationship with one Donald Trump. There's something deep going on there. Now, Rosie is then now going to go on to talk about how her child, as the child of a very wealthy, famous woman who can afford the best of everything, including high security doorman building, the kind of danger her kid was facing in New York City.
The people here have been so welcoming. My child is very, very thrilled to be here and loves the agency she has to go walk to the green and visit her friends or go get an ice cream with her buddy. And in America, that wasn't happening. My 12-year-old child with autism was not going somewhere alone with a friend in New York City. You can know that for sure. I was there all the time. And in fact, the lollipop lady here told me that I was the only woman who walked her 6th class kid into school every day and waited at the door. She's like, do you ever think she's embarrassed of you? Let her walk with her friends.
Question of the decade.
We don't do that. You're not in New York now, are you, Rosie O'Donnell? You're in Dublin, Ireland, and I haven't lost a kid yet.
Okay, first of all, I think Rosie lives around the Time Warner Center, around Columbus Circle. I think that's where her place was in New York. You could eat off the sidewalks up there. It's extremely safe. I mean, Tom Brady has an apartment there. Get out. So your child, who, by the way, you could call an Uber X for if you're that afraid. Secondly, I love how she's talking about her kid with autism. We've seen her child speak in a documentary that Rosie made. If this child has autism, it is extremely high functioning. This is one of those, I think, vicarious sort of Munchausen by proxy kind of. I'm not saying her child doesn't have autism. I'm saying I think Rosie's laying it on a bit thick. And I think Rosie's laying it on a bit thick because this is now her identity. She is not as culturally relevant as she used to be. And she's touring Australia. That's why this little segment, she should tour America. I mean, maybe she can't really move tickets in America. I don't know. Anyway, the lollipop lady, whose name Rosie clearly has not bothered to learn, I believe, is trolling Rosie O'Donnell. Take a look.
How did she recognize you?
It's a non-celebrity culture.
Yeah.
So people are not obsessed with celebrities.
So is
If
New
they
York
see
City.
you, they go, hey. Or they'll say, welcome. Nobody says, can I have a picture? Can I have an autograph? They literally want to welcome you.
Oh, the
and, when I
humanity.
first got there to the school, the woman who was amazing, this lollipop lady, let the kid in and then would watch. And finally, after a few weeks, she said, Clay's mom, what's your name? I said, Rosie. She said, Rosie's surname. I said, O'Donnell. She said, oh, like the famous actress. And I said, I am the famous actress. And she said, no, you're not.
Rosie, the lollipop lady is trolling you. If she knows who Rosie O'Donnell is, she knows what your face looks like. And it's a very distinctive face, and it hasn't changed. And your voice is very distinctive, as is your accent, as is the way you speak and move about in the world. She knows who the F you are, and she's having her fun. She's getting her kicks by pretending that she doesn't know who you are. And I love it, by the way, that she says, oh, in Ireland, in Dublin, it's a non-celebrity culture. Like, they don't care. Get out of here. There is no place where people could give less than 2 Fs who you are than New York City. There just is. And you know, everybody knows it. People don't even bother celebrities by saying hello. They just let them walk on by. Anyway, okay, so Rosie's apparently fleeing a lot. She's fleeing her burdensome celebrity as well as one DJT, right? Okay, now Rosie says that she, it's kind of adjacent to the Buddha rule. Anybody who is articulating the need that they just want calm in their life, that they just want peace. It's like my mother, I just want peace. No, she loved to fight. She loved a good drama. Rosie wants calm in her life. Okay, let's hear her. Let's hear her take on this.
For me, fighting and arguing is not the way I want to live or entertain. It's not the way I want to make money.
Yet she does.
It's even though I, when pushed, will go there, I don't like to go there. And I'm trying in my old age to keep it all calm and to be around as long as I can.
Are you sure about that?
I think so.
Thanks, Karl.
Did it ring untrue to you?
Well, I do think you make headlines a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yes. Well, when it comes to democracy dying in America, I'm not silent.
So she left. She's such a fighter. And she's such a fighter for democracy that she fucking left. But she's going to talk about it on 60 Minutes Australia from Dublin. Come on. What are we doing here? What are we really doing here? Now, Rosie's going to go on to, make no mistake, compare herself to some pretty heavy hitters in this field. And then she's going to say, not that I'm comparing myself. Here we go.
The point is, Rosie O'Donnell ain't going quietly.
That's the truth, I have a loud mouth. I was raised in New York. The people I've always looked up to in my life, Martin Luther King, Gloria Steinem. People use their voices, even at maybe their own detriment, but they did it for the greater good. And not that I equate myself with those people in any way, but I do feel a responsibility to stand up for injustice wherever you see it.
I don't know what the injustice is. Like, I'm still perplexed. I don't think she's really articulated it. And Karl is having a great time. Karl is literally at this point, like, laughing in her face. And she's going on and on and on. Like, she's Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks never, as far as I know, applied for a passport and flew to a Western European country where she lolled about getting a pint at the pub. Get out. Okay, now. Because we have to. Let's just take a little, let's just get a little reminder of, so this is, this is a rule at the Nerve. These dark-minded, dark-hearted souls, they all congregate with each other in public, and they're hiding behind laughter, but really they're telling us who they are. So here is Rosie talking to none other than Andrew Cohen about her new best friendship with the guy who blew his mother's face off at close range with a shotgun after blowing his father's head open to the point where his brain literally fell out of his head. And then they went on a spending spree the next day in Beverly Hills. The one and only Lyle Menendez.
So I went to visit my friend Lyle Menendez, which is a whole other show.
Oh
But-
my God! I mean,
I know.
you
Andy
are
thinks it's
something
hilarious.
else.
I'm just telling you, honey. You know, I follow my heart. I just do.
She follows her heart. Rosie has what's known as a bad picker. It's damaged greatly. Now, Karl is going to issue one of the great understatements of the year. Let's take a look at this.
I don't care what anyone says about you, Rosie O'Donnell. You are not a boring woman.
Thank you so much. That has been my biggest hope of life, that nobody will say, God, she was dull. You know, I want to be vivacious, like a firework, and then let everybody go, ooh, Donald, sit and spin, my friend. I don't enjoy him.
That was Rosie on The View at the height when she said, Donald, sit and spin, my friend. I don't enjoy him. That was great TV. That was great TV. And Barbara Walters was alive back then. And she was on that panel. And Barbara was dying because she was trying to rein Rosie in because she was friends with Donald. I mean, Barbara, as discussed in several episodes of The Nerve, and over on Megyn Kelly's show, very complicated woman, but an unequivocal star fucker nonpareil. And she did not want to make enemies with Donald Trump. And here's Rosie going, sit and spin, Donald, on national television, on morning show television. Oh my God, amazing. What I wouldn't have given to be on a fly on the wall in those post-production meetings. Here's a striking fact you might not know. I sure did not. The number one risk factor for mortality isn't obesity. It's not heart disease. It's high blood pressure. That's right. 1 in every 2 adults has high blood pressure. And I've had a parent have to take that medication. And once you get on it, it's almost like you're never getting off of it. And then the high blood pressure begins to have a domino effect on the body's overall health. But there is a way to stop it before it even begins. This product, I'm excited to tell you about it. It's new, it's natural, and it can stop high blood pressure from ever developing. It's called 120 Life. It comes in powder form, it comes in juice form, and it's formulated to not only support healthy blood pressure, it also aids in muscle recovery after workouts. It supports healthy blood flow and liver function, and it is loaded with antioxidants, which are key to suppressing inflammation and the advanced aging that comes with that. But don't just take my word for it. 120 Life is trusted by over 1,000 health professionals, and people who have tried it love it. Go see the testimonials for yourself over at 120life.com. So why not give it a try? If you don't see measurable, impactful results within 2 weeks, they will give you your money back. This thing is zero risk and all reward. And they are offering a special discount to our troublemakers, 15% off your first order. Just go to 120life.com and use the code NERVE, that's NERVE, to save 15%. You can track your progress, by the way, with a simple blood pressure monitor. Watch your numbers drop and feel the difference. Again, this is a risk-free offer. So if you don't see lower numbers in 2 weeks, you get your money back. Go to 120life.com. That's 120life.com. And remember to use code NERVE to save 15%. This is serious. This is your health and your life. 120 Life can help in simple, delicious, provable ways. Don't wait. Take control of your health today.